What's NAMM planning like for you?
How long have I been bugging you about coming to NAMM, dude? Seriously.
Here's your chance. This is it.
Yeah. Oh, this is a nice surprise. I'm excited. That's cool. Paul's been hanging around for a while, and it's always awesome to see him when he was coming for a while.
Yeah.
And this is great. Okay, very cool. NAMM this year is shaping up really nicely, actually, because it was the year that was out for COVID. There was the year following that was nothing, which I opted out of for the first time for somebody who's gone, I'm on 40 shows or something like now. And then last year, even though it was, 50% more than it was the previous year that I didn't attend, what was really interesting was who showed, not who didn't show, because everybody was like, Pearl's not here, and PRS isn't here, and Gibson's not here. And I don't. That doesn't help me knowing who's not here.
Right.
What helps me,
I could come up with a huge list of companies that are never going to be there. Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So it was really cool to walk around and find some cool stuff, like we talked about after last year was on the show. We talked about it, and the level of interaction and the time that you could take was really cool. This year is the first year under the new CEO, and I apologize if I'm butchering his name, John Milnicek, I believe.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Joe Lamont had been there for years, a guy I loved and knew very well back to when he was a drummer, when he was a punk rock drummer. He was just like the coolest guy.
That's cool.
And he stepped down, and John has some huge shoes to fill, and is, from what I can see, perception-wise anyway, he's put a lot into this to try to make this work really, really well, and to see to it that there are some really great opportunities and reasons to attend this show. So last year's numbers for attendance, I thought were good. It wasn't great. I mean, again, it was only that much better than what anybody expected.
No, I would, and having been at CES, I basically did the same thing with CES that you did with NAMM, where I went last year for the first time post COVID lockdowns. They did hold it the year prior. They held it in 2022, but it was like people bailed out at the last minute. It was a ghost town. Last year, I would have said the exact same thing you said about NAMM, where you could make a list of the companies that chose not to go, but the people that were there in full force, and you could have meaningful conversations. There was a little more time. And what I just came back from was like full on CES mania, all the way back to what it was in 2020 and 2019 and all the years prior. So this makes sense. Yeah, the evolution. So, it's the same. Yeah.
Here's kind of the thing that makes the most sense to me, which is, again, by way of perception. And I go and I cover the show for different media and stuff too, but as the musician part of me, which is key, it seems like they're refocusing the idea of NAMM to be about development in a certain amount of areas. One is education. Okay. Another is obviously in industry and in MI and in development. And the other is in actual business relationships. And I'm really excited about that. First of all, because for me, that's what it always was. For me, it was always about not just developing the businesses for the companies that I was consulting for, but it was for building relationships for me as a musician.
Yeah.
Because I've worn all the hats. I did artist relations. I do it now for Michael Tobias Design for MTD basses and guitars. And the thing about, free stuff. It's like, no, those days are gone. Those days are long, long gone. Yep. But the other component,
the networking, I always say, and again, I'll relate CES because I literally just got back. But anytime I go to any show, my primary focus is on relationship development, relationship maintenance, relationship management. And then there's all the other things, the coverage, all of that. It happens, but just because of who I am, and I think you and I are very similar in this way, we're relationship people. We understand the value of it, certainly, if we're going to be, objective about it. But it's also important to me. I like to develop relationships with people, so it's a natural thing, and it just sort of how it goes. Yeah.
And you have that, and it becomes like the greatest tour family reunion you've ever seen, and it's not as many of it. So like we always say, Saturday is Rockstar Day. Like if you want to see the person that you actually recognize the name, that's maybe they'll be there on Saturday.
Okay.
But all the rest of the time, musician wise, you'll recognize 80% of the people from Adam Blackstone's band or from
Sure.
Any number of like all the award shows, all the talk shows, all of the late night shows, like all those guys that are there in general working and doing demos and all that stuff. But there's also stuff like awards, like Tech Awards and Parnelli Awards and all that fun stuff, which is, it's a great opportunity to do business because a lot of the corporate guys go and it's open bar and they're hanging out, and you can make deals all day long if you're in that part of the world of music. So it's fun. I love it. It's my only time during the year to actually go and do, like, it's my vacation kind of, even though I work like a dog and I don't sleep.
Right.
It's so much fun. I almost always have a playing gig and a mixing gig when I'm there, which is always super cool. And again, I've been doing it for so many years. There's some really cool stuff happening this year, which I'm excited about.